The ultimate Linnea guide. Builds, artifacts, and teams. Don't make this mistake with Linnea. Let's just straight to the point. Is Linnea the ultimate Geo savior? Added in version 6.5, this 5-star Geo bow user and her adorable Fae companion, Lumi, have completely reshaped how Geo teams function. She acts as a def-scaling sub-DPS, a healer, an EM buffer, and an exclusive enabler for the brand new Lunar Crystallize reaction. What's up, guys? Today we are breaking down everything you need to know to build the ultimate Linnea. From her best weapons and artifacts to the absolute best team comps that will let her carry your Abyss runs. Let's dive right into how her kit works. Let's start with her kit, which is completely tied to her def scaling. Her elemental skill is her bread and butter. When you tap her skill, Linnea summons Lumi, who constantly attacks enemies with AoE Geo damage. But here is the secret sauce. If you repeatedly tap her skill, Linnea feeds Lumi gemstones, transforming her into an ultra-powerful state that drops a devastating megaton hammer nuke. But the biggest reason you pull for Linnea is her passive ability. Whenever you trigger a Hydro Crystallize reaction, Linnea converts it into a Lunar Crystallize reaction instead. On top of that, she shreds Geo resistance by up to 30%, gives a massive EM buff based on her DEF, and her Elemental Burst provides continuous party-wide healing. Basically, she's a sub-DPS, buffer, and healer all in one. Because her kit is so loaded, building her is actually surprisingly straightforward. She ascends with crit rate, which makes balancing her stats a breeze. For artifacts, you have two amazing options: Husk of Opulent Dreams and the new Abad of Morningstar and Moon. Both perform incredibly well, and the damage gap between them is minimal, so just pick whichever set has better substats. For your main stats, you want to go all in on defense. Sands, defense %. Goblet, defense %. Elemental Mastery is a viable backup if you're heavily leaning into Lunar Crystallize. Circlet, crit rate or crit damage. You can also run a defense % circlet if your substats are cracked. Stat goals to aim for: defense, as high as possible. Energy recharge, around 100% to 120%. She doesn't need much. Crit ratio, aim for around 80% crit rate and 200% plus crit damage. HP, 18,000 to 20,000 is plenty for survivability. Let's talk weapons. Obviously, her signature 5-star bow, Golden Frostbound Oath, is her absolute best in slot. It gives her massive personal damage and buffs the whole team's Lunar Crystallize and Geo damage. If you don't have it, Aqua Simulacra is your next best 5-star option for that raw crit damage. But what if you're free to play? Don't worry, Linnea is incredibly F2P friendly. The new 4-star craftable bow from Nod Cry, Snare Hook, is amazing on her and reduces her energy requirements. And honestly, the 3-star Slingshot is genuinely an incredible weapon for her if you just need a massive crit rate stat stick. Should you pull for Constellations? At C0, Linnea is already a complete character. However, if you want to invest further, C2 is your perfect stopping point. C1 increases her personal DPS, but C2 gives her a massive crit damage buff and skyrockets her team buffing capabilities. Beyond C2, unless you are wailing for C6, you don't need to push any further. Alright, let's talk teams. Linnea needs to be paired with Hydro and Geo characters to maximize her Lunar Crystallize reactions. Team 1, the Lunar Nuke Core. Linnea, Zabai, Columbina, Iluga/Ino. This is currently her absolute ceiling. Zabai is the best Geo DPS to pair with Linnea, perfectly utilizing all of her buffs. Combine them with Columbina for off-field Hydro application and immense Lunar Crystallize damage. Throw in Iluga for team-wide crit and EM buffs, or Ino for Ascendant Gleam, and you will melt the Spiral Abyss. Team 2, the Navia Cannon. Linnea, Navia, Columbina, Furina/Inefa. Because Linnea offers healing, she is the perfect pair for Furina. You get Furina's massive damage buff, Linnea's healing and Geo res shred, Columbina's Hydro app, and Navia just blasting everything with her Gunbrella. Team 3, the Civilian Carry. Linnea, Noelle/Ningguang, Hydro Sub DPS, Flex. If you are playing classic Geo carries like Noelle or Ningguang, Linnea single-handedly revives them. Linnea's Geo particle generation is fantastic for Noelle, making it a super comfy, unkillable F2P friendly team. And that is everything you need to know to build Linnea. She is arguably the strongest Geo support the game has ever seen, making old characters viable again while enabling an entirely new meta. Are you pulling for Linnea or her signature weapon? Let me know down in the comments. If this guide helped you out, be sure to smash that like button, subscribe for more Genshin 6.5 content, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.
Get to work! Annihilate! Mine to wield. Did I scare you? Suffer the wrath of Eastleigh!
Three moons converge. Whoa.
Mine to wield. Here comes the catch. Gotcha.
Surge.
Fulfill our pact! Surge! Ha! Yeah! Ha! Ha! Yeah! Yeah! Ha! Yeah! You two! Time to end them! Game's up. Fun's over. Quietly now.
A moonlit night for all. Wane.
Extinguish! Jet power! Jet ha! 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 Jet! Ha!
Surge.
Busted! Get to work! Things are about to get dicey. Surge! Power!
A new moon rises. Whoa.
Suffer the wrath of Eastleigh! Game's up. Fun's over.